Oh, you're on vacation and you came. You crack me up. It will get better. You will not always work on vacation. I promise you. But your kids are seeing your work ethic. I promise you. I promise you. Oh my gosh. It's funny. I always talk about my kids. The next time I present in person, I'm gonna put up a picture of my family. I never do that, but my kids are 25 and 27. I have twins that are 25, and then a girl that's 27. And actually, she's 27. I had to do the math. I'm like, she's 28. But they always say they don't remember me missing out on anything. So but I did. They just remember me being there most of the time. So it's all good. I promise you. They're gonna see you. They're gonna feel the work ethic. On Pizza-Palooza Facebook page today, somebody's venting about an OT and an OTA not showing up for interviews and how frustrating it is. And she wanted to reach out to the university, and I'm like, okay, well, don't do that. Like, don't do anything that's gonna look bad on you. It's on them, right? And just be glad you didn't hire them, because they'll come across in an interview, with all that social grace and looking so great. And in fact, you shouldn't have hired them. So it stinks because you get excited that you finally have an interview and really disappointed and angry that you blocked time and prepared and all of that. But it really is a blessing. It truly is, because you sometimes can't see through. And we have to see that positive perspective, because it's so easy to, when you're doing something like recruiting, to really just drop down to grumpiness, just negative mindset, just anything negative in the head. And you've got to just see through that and just be like, it wasn't meant to be. So, anywho, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Believe it or not, we had 25 people registered, and only said five of you guys here, but I don't care. I don't want to delay for you guys. Um, I have a lot of news to share. I think most of you know it. I think, hi Ross, thanks for turning your camera on. Most of you guys are in the POPPEE Facebook group, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. So I don't need to share that. And the Lemonade Library, like, right? Everybody's in that. Ross, yes or no? Lemonade Library. It's where all the free webinars are. On Wednesday, I'm gonna put it in the hi Christy. Don't feel like you have to turn your camera on if you're driving, but be safe. I'm just gonna put a link here in the chat. Ross, you know how to access your chat? Yeah, okay, good. And the Lemonade Library is on Wednesdays from 11 to 12 every other week. We had one this week, so it won't be another one for 2 weeks. All of our lemonades are in this library. As always, anytime you fill out a form, please fill in every blank. If you don't fill in every blank, they think you're AI or something not necessarily appropriate to get in our groups, and they won't let you in. So just fill out all the whole form, and then you can get in. Welcome, Sharon. I'll post that again. When you join any of these a little bit late, not calling you out on that, but you don't see what's already in the chat. So I'm going to post the Lemonade Library again, just to make sure, Sharon, that you have access to the Lemonade Library. There's so much free information there. And I want you to know there's a magnifying glass search option. So if you get into the library and you search any topic, but remember, change up the name. Like, it's not just hiring, it's recruiting. I don't know which word was used. So when you're trying to find topics, please take some time. Make yourself listen to one a week or something on a walk or drive to or from work, like Christy's taking advantage of that today. And, really get into that Lemonade Library and just fill your mind with information that's in there. There's so much free information in there, and I want you to have it all. So just wanted you to be aware that that is there for you. Survival Strategies is so amazing in offering so much free. They offer so much free. And do you know why they do that? Is just because they really care that you grow. And they hope that you reach for more than free, because all the free stuff is going to get you just so far. But when you take the leap to do just a little bit more, it's going to push your potential even more. And I think you felt that if you've attended an in-person convention or taken any of the virtual workshops that are offered. And I think everybody knows me, Sharon. I'm not sure if you do, but my name is Diane Crecilius, and I started and grew my practice and sold it for double-digit millions of dollars. And I only tell you that because I know what I'm doing, and it may not be what you need to do, but I hope I have some tips and tricks that are going to motivate and inspire you and get your business moving in the direction you wanted to go. I really want you to move forward, not only in 2025, but 2026, which is fast coming upon us. Some virtual workshops that are being offered. There are 3 of them coming up in November. Now, we don't usually offer workshops at the end of the year. This was my idea. So you have to support me in my idea because Survival Strategies thinks I'm crazy. They think that it's too busy at the end of the year. And I agree, it's busy at the end of the year. But I also said we just can't wait to get this information out to people. And, our businesses go on even if holidays are happening. And so I really want you guys to have this information. And I don't know when it was gonna be able to be offered, so I said, "Well, let's see, let's see." And so, Christy, that's a really great question. I'm trying to get the Bloom webinars in the Lemonade library. Here's what I did though. I started I don't know, an email. I call it a newsletter. At our in-person event this past weekend, which was amazing, huh, Erin? And we started a list of poppies, I'll say, that were willing to have me reach out to them and let me know about what's upcoming, and even a list of people to network together. So they were sharing information, emails and cell phones and stuff like that. If you want to me to forward you the email of, I won't forward you the networking list because I don't have their permission to share it with you. But I did create this long email of everything that's coming up, and I included for the past 4 links to the blooms. So if you want me to send you that email, put your information in the chat, put your email in the chat. Just little, Christy, I have yours, but it'll just remind me that you want it. And I'll forward you that email. But I'm going to try to do this every other week or so because I know you guys are so busy, just to remind you, hey, don't forget, and just really try to be your biggest cheerleader. But these workshops that are coming up, thanks, Tina, in November are hats, bonuses, and ladder programs. So hats are really your job descriptions. You need to have them written. That is job retention. That's a great recruiting tool. When you are interviewing somebody and they see how organized and stable you are, having your policies and procedures or your hats and bonuses written, it sets you apart from your competitor. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Is you have to set yourself apart from your competitor. That's who you're competing with, is the office down the street. Awesome, Tina. That's awesome. And then the ladder program, you might think you're too small, but I don't know if it's going to be offered when you need it, right? So, and some of you aren't small. So the ladder program is a system that I put in place when my staff was saying, I don't know where I can grow in this company. And so I created this system of tiers, it's 5 levels, to show them where you can grow in this company, how you can grow in this company. And then it really holds my people to a standard that I expect them to move up the ladder system. I actually have those conversations during their review about where they are and where they need to be and their goals, and get their buy-in. And so I find it very valuable, and I hope you do too. So absolutely, positively, take a look at these links that I posted in the chat and just see if it's for you. Also, what I put together is another workshop called Management by Statistics. This is a new one. And I put it together because frankly, I was tired of getting on the phone with owners that said they weren't using numbers to manage their practice. And so it's very basic, it's very elementary. If you've already taken my accelerator series, it's not for you. Because you kind of already had it. But you can always do it as a review. But Maria and Erin, I think it's not for you. But I don't know about the rest of you. So take a look at this, at the landing page here that I sent you in the chat, and just see if you're already managing by statistics. This is very basic, so it may not be for you. But you have to manage by statistics to have a successful practice. And I talk to every owner about thinking about your end game. You have to think about your end game. I was talking one-on-one with people this weekend, very large, successful practices, and they had things like school contracts and even early intervention contracts. And those things are fine, but they may not have a value when someone buys you. Now, if it's an individual practice owner, maybe they can continue those contracts. But if it's a larger entity like a corporation, a school system is not going to do a contract with a corporation. So they're going to subtract that from your profitability. And I don't want you to think that That's part of your profitability. Same thing with early intervention. Some people were sharing that you have to win these contracts in these areas every year. I'm pretty sure a corporation is not going to win that contract. And if that's how it goes in your practice, then that would be subtracted from your profitability. So I want you to make sure you have the right lens and how you're building your practice so it has a value at the end that you can do with it what you want, sell to an individual or corporation. But you have to be able to manage by statistics. You have to have statistics to show them your growth, and they want to see growth. They absolutely want to see growth to invest money in your practice. Strategize to maximize. That is coming again in January. If anybody's taken it, people repeat it and take it over and over again. You don't have to. If you've taken it once, you have all the data, there's nothing new. Just go back to your notes and repeat it for yourself for the new year. But this is how to set your goals in the new year. If you have not taken it and you're already managing by statistics, yes, if you've been through Accelerator, you should take it. Be aware, it's going to blow you away. You can jump on a call with me before and after, but it's going to blow you away. But you should take it. It's awesome. Those in an Accelerator series, Jennifer took it, and she said she was very glad she did. So talk to Jennifer about it. You have her contact, I believe. If you don't, I'm sure she's fine if I share it with you guys. But definitely take a look at Strategize to Maximize. It is very robust. It is very fast paced. Yes, I talk fast anyway. But I am going to offer this year, this is new, for people that sign up before December 1st. On December 3rd, I think it's going to be December 3rd, I'm going to offer an hour training on the worksheet. There's a worksheet that you get before the workshop, and I'm going to walk you through it. We're not going to do it together. I'm just going to give definitions and explanations. And it'll give you the month of December. Really, it'll give you about 6 weeks because it's not till January 16th. And I know December is busy, but some time to really gather those numbers. Guys, you need to be all in structuring and measuring your company. And the more you measure it and put parameters into it, the more attention and intention you give it, the more it will grow in those areas. And I want that for you. So take a look. These virtual workshops aren't even that expensive. So that's why I'm like, hey, they're virtual. Take a look. And then lastly, and Erin, I'm going to ask you and Maria for some help here. We have a new accelerator series coming. Erin and Maria were part of my first one, and they gave me grace for that one. My first one we ever offered. It was very, very fun. We had 9 of us together, and I hope this one's bigger, but it was fun to have 9 of us. And this is a series for if you are really new and opening your practice. We're going to talk about things like a business plan, your front desk, hiring and onboarding, your marketing and PR, how to pick a location, even how to name your company. And should you have all 3 disciplines and why? So there's a lot of really digging into your practice and pushing it to the next level. So whether you started your practice or you need to push it to the next level, this is a very basic level course too. So if you're already maybe over 100 visits, probably not for you. If you're under 100 visits, I would say maybe take a look at it and we can talk about if it's for you. We can get on the phone, and I just want to make sure you're only taking what you need to take. Okay, fine. Let's jump to recruiting. I'm sorry, that was a lot. We don't usually have this much being offered, but we do. And I just want you to be aware of all of it. So we're going to talk about recruiting today. It's not magical, right? The answers I'm going to share today aren't magical. And recruiting's hard. The only state I've heard that it's easy is North Dakota. I talked to an owner and she's in North Dakota. She's like, yeah, it's new patients, not recruiting. So you should all move to North Dakota. You can find therapists there, or maybe you can recruit in North Dakota and maybe they're tired of being there and they want to move where you are. So I don't know. That's actually one of the tips I have I'm going to share with you is to look to other states. But what I want you to do today is to kind of put together a bit, Sharon, I'm going to stop a minute. What seminar are you talking about? Are you talking about the accelerator? That's what I was just talking about. And I put it in the chat. I put it as a link in the chat about how to get your practice started.
Yes,
So scroll
that's the
back
one.
just a little bit, see if you can find it. If not, I'm going to give you my contact information at the end and you can reach to me directly.
Okay, is this
But
the one, the
yeah,
puppy incubator and
what I want you to
accelerator?
put together is a bit of a checklist. So you're going to have a recruiting checklist. And these checklists that I put together, of course, I talk about them all the time. It's going to make each of these challenges simple, right? Because you're going to create these checklists. You're always going to be adding to it or tweaking what's already on there. And then every time, hang on a minute. I have a friend that just joined us. I need to let her in. Every time that you need to hire somebody, which is always, you should always be recruiting, you need to be taking a look at your checklist. And not only are you looking at, hi, Ashley, welcome. Not only are you looking at, am I doing it? The quality, okay? Quantity and quality. Quantity and quality. So when you say, yeah, I already have an Indeed ad, I've had it up there for months, I'm not getting what I need. What's the quality of that Indeed ad? Maybe take a look at other Indeed ads in your area and what are they saying? Talk to the therapist already working for you. I'm already jumping ahead in my notes, so I apologize for that. But talking to the therapist already working for you and say, what attracted you to this practice? If you've worked somewhere else, what was different that attracted you to this practice? And make sure you're highlighting that in your ad because you know what people are looking for because that's what they're on your team for, right? So take a look at the pictures on your ads, on your posts, and are you changing them? Are they, really such that they're reaching out and grabbing people, or maybe it's a cartoon picture and needs to be changed, right? And lastly, there you can always reach to a marketing firm to take a look at your marketing for your recruiting. When we were at convention this past weekend, Uplift Marketing offered a free marketing analysis to everybody that was there. You could reach out to them. I'll put their name in the chat. I don't really have a contact information. They're just really great. Uplift Marketing. And you could reach out to them and just tell them you're part of the POPPEE group or Pizza-Palooza and see if they would offer you a free analysis. So they're a really great company and they give, just like Survival Strategies, they give so much away for free. I would ask if they give you some information that you can use and you're going to use a marketing firm, at least give them a chance to price compare and tell them what you're finding. Like if you go somewhere, so you're like, well, their website is cost is this. Tell them because maybe it's comparing apples to oranges and make sure that you give them the opportunity if they're giving you the free opportunity. But truly, 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 it might come down to quality of what you're putting out there or quantity. Are you refreshing your ad? Are you putting some ad spend behind it? Or do you need to do something differently? And we're going to talk about that. But it's hard to find good quality staff, and that's what we're looking for. But remember, when we find them, we have to retain them. And so we have to look inside our practice constantly and be saying, what can we do better to make sure we're retaining them? Are you giving them the voice? Are you having one-on-one meetings? Are you surveying them? Are you making sure you're listening and changing what you can so that you can retain them? That's priceless. Then you don't even need this information I'm sharing today. So don't forget retention. You should have a retention checklist too, which that could be a whole nother bloom if that's interesting to you. Put it in the chat because I get a copy of the chat and I can know what we want to talk about next. So when you're recruiting, you're looking at two people. You think you're looking at people that are looking for jobs. That's what you think you're looking for. And that's true. You're looking for people that are looking for jobs. But you're also looking at people that aren't looking for jobs, that are already employed. And there's some ways to do this, and we've had to stretch oh, thanks, Tina. I've had to stretch my morals and ethics a bit because I feel like I have a high moral and ethical standard. Like I have to be truthful. I have to be honest. I'm not going to sell you something that you don't need. I'm going to exchange in abundance. I'm just going to give you so much more than you're paying when you join me. But when you look at people that are not looking for a job, what you're doing is sharing opportunity that might better fill their cup. Now, you don't want competitors stealing from you. So we have to consider that about you stealing from competitors. However, we all have to push ourselves to offer the best opportunity for any employee. You have to continue to look at, are you creating the best environment, the supporting your teammates, the best opportunity, and that involves growth, hence the ladder program, right? And maybe even a bonus system. Are you offering the best opportunity for your teammates so that nobody could steal them? And it's not all about money, right? All right. So I cautioned one of my friends here today. I try to follow all of your social media. So if you don't see me liking and commenting, you need to send me your link so I follow you. But I shared with one of my friends that she shared a post and it had the first and last name of an employee. And I said, don't do that. Screenshotted it, sent it to her. And because they'll steal them, they find out their first and last name. It's really easy to find them on LinkedIn, to find them on social media. But if you say, Miss Diane, there's lots of Dianes, right? They won't be able to find them. So that's one tip. Don't post that on social media. Let's protect our teammates and not invite our competitors to actually reach out to them. But it's not, so it's quantity and quality, and we're making our recruitment checklist. So I already shared a little bit about Indeed. Maybe I have more tips on that. I'll see when I get there in my notes. The number one thing I have on my list is universities. Universities, we need to work really hard as the leader and the owner to develop a relationship with the university. A relationship. A relationship is these people are our friends. We care about making their job easier, and we care about making the student's job of finding employment easier, right? So there's lots of things we can do for universities that we have expertise on. I'm going to share all of them. You don't have to do them all. You don't have time to do them all. But as you grow your business, remember you have a whole team and you need to find out what your team likes to do when it comes to these things we're going to talk about with university liaisons. So Tina, you shared you have 20 team members. What are they doing when it comes to university liaison? Let's find out who was their university that they could network with. I'll jump. This is kind of a higher level thing, but just because I said that, it kind of came to mind. We were trying so hard to recruit at one time. We took a letter that we wrote, and I never share these things, by the way. My letters, create your own, makes you a leader and a CEO. But we wrote one letter from our heart about having such a wonderful experience at our own university. So I went to Ohio State. So I wrote this letter. I had this great experience at Ohio State. I bleed scarlet and gray. Those are our colors. That's what we always say, right? And I love my alma mater. At the same time, I love where I work. And so I want to connect students from my alma mater, to my work, to become part of my team. I think Ohio State puts out the best students. This is my letter. Okay. I'm not really just saying Ohio State's better than your school. I think Ohio State puts out the best students. The way I was trained, I was ready for the workforce. I had morals and ethics and confidence. I feel like my university trained me in an amazing way to be ready for the workforce. And I want those same well-trained students as part of my team at my company. And so we wrote this letter and we had everybody on our team modify it, made it their own, and send it to their university. Now they might be from out of state. That's okay. If you're from out of state and you're now in my state, you moved, maybe they're going to move. Maybe they have family here. It's still okay, even if they're out of state. Remember, we're desperate to try to find teammates. So consider making that connection that you already have an instant relationship with the university because you're an alumni. And I guarantee they will read it coming from an alumni. So just an idea, and a very unique idea, I think, so that you can add it to your list. Okay, so what can you do with universities? You can take students. That's an easy one. It should be part of your culture that everybody takes students. You literally need to create that mindset. And for those that are not comfortable, help them to be comfortable. Pair them up with someone that is comfortable and get them to where they are paying it forward, giving it back because someone did it for them. Don't make them wrong. Don't say you have to take students. That's what our team does. Get them comfortable on a gradient and meet them where they are. Remember, retention. But we have to expand our team to take as many students as we can. Right now, I prefer you take the highest level students, level 3 for OTPT. I don't know what it's called for speech, but the ones that are about to graduate. I prefer you take those students, and so do you probably. Level 1s are really hard. It's more like volunteer work, but we kind of have to take both in order for us to get the level 3 students. Yes, 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 we do the same, Tina. You're jumping in my notes, but I love it. We do junior high. We start as young as junior high and high school. We literally set up internships with our high schools and they get credit and come in and do internships. Now they're actually helping us for free. They become aides kind of to our therapists. They refill supplies, they put toys away, they clean up, and then they participate in sessions as well. We also have them follow leaders and follow the front desk and follow marketing so they can see what that looks like in case they decide they want to go into something other than therapy. But college is expensive, and anything we can do to build into future generations, we should. And we've had people come back. I don't know if you have yet, Tina, but we've had people come back and say, I was part of your junior high volunteer program. So, yes, that's a long term goal, but they also might tell their sister, their friend, their cousin. So, you never know who's networking out there. I highly recommend we get creative and do what we can. So, that's great. Thanks for bringing that forward, Tina. So yes, take students and as many of them as you can and make sure students have a great experience. Make sure they absolutely feel part of your team. If you're doing a happy hour, invite them, whatever it is, make sure they feel a part of your team. The best new hires that we've ever had were our students, right? They had a long-term interview with us and we had one with them. And I found them to be the best new hires for sure. Do resume reviews with the university. Offer that as free. We will do resume reviews. It's so simple. And just offer that. And your whole team can help you do that. Kind of, you can make a checklist if you want what they're looking for, but just definitely do resume reviews. I love to do mock interviews with these. I do them virtually. Yeah, they have job expos. I'd go to those as well. But I like to just jump on a virtual, everybody's busy, and get to know them. I try to schedule a minimum of 30 minutes. I like 45. The interview is only 15 minutes, and then we chat. And I really get to know them as a person. And that goes so far that you're building into them as a student that they're really going to remember you when they're looking for a job or an internship. And they're actually going to tell their friends because I hope that phone call goes so well. So really think about building these relationships, right? You can teach a course or a seminar. Now, teaching a course is a big commitment. Many of us as owners don't have that time, but maybe there's a therapist that does have the time. Maybe it's evenings and weekends, and that just fills their cup. Great. Maybe one of your teammates can do that. Ask them to wear their logo wear every time they're teaching. But I've also gone in and I've taught just a lecture, like private practice lecture. I go in, just teach one lecture. I've also gone in and just taught a lecture on pediatric therapy in general, or how to be the ideal employee. I mean, you can just pick any topic, and sometimes they'll love for you to give that lecture. It's 1 hour. Yes, it takes time to prepare it, but usually what I did is once I prepared it, I just recycled that same lecture year after year after year after year. So take a look and see if that's something that you could get more involved in your team and the teammates, and see if you aren't able to improve the relationship with the university so you actually get those internships over someone else. We already talked about job fairs or job expos. You should be at every one of those. Make sure the giveaways that you give at these expos are high quality. They really speak to your company. Don't buy the cheap pens that break. They remember that, believe it or not. They're like, well, this is a crappy pen, and throw it away. They'll use pens. They'll use I'm just trying to think. What are some things? Put it in the chat that you've given away that you have found people really like. Pens to me is the number one. Stress balls, notepads, great one. Sticky notepads, even better. Good one, Maria. Oh, yep, you got it. Tote bags. Yep, especially those kind that you get your groceries in, right? Because they'll keep those and use them over and over. Great ideas, great ideas. Make sure they're nice quality so they keep them. And then it's that subliminal, right? Your company's name is going to be in their head over and over again. When you put your company logo, be sure you put your website, because they might Google it and somebody else's company comes up and you've lost that opportunity. So put your website on there as well. When you are recruiting as a thing on your checklist, you need to pick locations where people want to live. So I talk to owners all the time, and they're in communities that maybe new grads don't want to live. I myself ended up over time moving my family to a very nice community because they have very nice school systems, right? I wanted that for my kids. That's just great, but not everybody can afford to live there. So I didn't choose to put one of my therapy locations there, but I chose areas that are middle class, upper middle class, where people can afford to live. So think with that, where new grads want to live, or at least it's going to be within a 10 to 15-minute drive, right? They want to be near the coffee shops and near the breweries. You may not be next door to those, but at least it's not so far of a drive. So really think about what location will attract therapists, because even though there's lots of children, obviously, if you don't have therapists, you can't help the children, and it becomes very frustrating. You're like a gerbil on the wheel just trying to find the talent and the help. So really consider location, location, location. And if you can have great drive-by, great signage, that's great, because you'd be amazed when people drive by how that sticks in their head, even subliminally. We love to be near, whether it's a grocery store, a Chick-fil-A, a Starbucks, a Target, something where people go to a lot. They frequently drive by our location to get to that location. And so they're constantly seeing our name over and over and over again. Keep in touch with teammates, right? Whether it's past students or it's someone that left you that you would hire again, right? That's the important piece here. If someone resigned, did they do it in the right way, for the right reasons even, that you would welcome them back? And I'm sure to let them know things happen, journeys change. I'm sure to let people know I'm sorry to see you go. You are always welcome back here. And keep in touch. Check in on them. If you know their birthday, make sure you're wishing them happy birthday. If you're having a happy hour, maybe you're going to invite them if they're still local. Maybe they just started staying at home with their kiddo and you're going to invite them to all your happy hours. You don't have to pay for their drinks, just that they can reconnect with the team. If they ever choose to go back into the workplace, they're going to want to come back. So think about the long-term game as well as the short-term game. Make sure that every student, volunteer, intern that comes through your office follows you on social media. Most of the time, people don't unfollow you unless you're obnoxious, but I'm guessing you're not. But most of the time, people don't unfollow you. So even 10 years down the road, your posts are still going to be popping up and you're going to be in the back of their mind. Remember, people move away, but they also move back. And you want to be such a great experience that if they come back, they're reaching out to you first. So social media is definitely a great way to keep in touch. I'm going to share with you a Facebook page that I really like. Those of you that listen to me all the time already have this one. But and somebody click on that and tell me if Emerge comes up, because that's what, I'm sorry, not Emerge, Pediatric Therapy Partners. Pediatric Therapy Partners in Louisiana. It does. Thanks, Maria. It just looks funny. It just says Facebook and I'm like, So I just wanted to be sure. So thank you. But this owner, her name's Emily Watkins. She does a very good job of recruiting and marketing at the same time. So study her past posts and really take a look. You'll know what I'm talking about. But when you see the videos on her social media, you're going to say, I want to work there. And that's what you want people to feel when they see your social media. Now, easier said than done. If you want to talk to Emily on the phone, I can absolutely connect you because she would be so willing. But she has used college students and even high school students to help her with this. So find those students and either pay them very little or be a reference and don't pay them, whatever is the right exchange for this level. But you might be able to have people, you want them to teach you. Now, as much as you are probably filled to capacity, if they can teach you or someone on your team, but remember, you could lose the person on your team. I hope not, but you want to gain the skills. That's ideal. But take a look and see how she combines recruiting with marketing. The next thing was posting on Indeed. We already talked about that. Looking at your competitors' posts. And it doesn't even have to be, maybe go look at Emily's posts on Indeed. I'll bet you that they have amazing posts on Indeed. So that's the thing. I'm always talking about building your network. And I do believe, I'm a big believer in coming to an in-person convention like we just had. The next one's April, third or fourth week in April. I'm not sure. Not sure where it's going to be. I think it's going to be in Houston, but I'm not sure. But you really want to develop a network of people that you can look at their Indeed posts, or you can look at their social media or their website and really learn from them. And I want that for you. It makes it really easy to do what we do. Easy. Have a poster in your waiting room. That poster should have a QR code on it about all the positions that you are hiring. You would be surprised who parents of our children know. So the thing is when a parent has special needs, a lot of people come in their life, right? They have teachers, they have aides, they have therapists, they have just neighbors, they have family, and their children inspire people to go into health fields. And so these parents often know people that are in the health field and hopefully a therapist. So that's why I tell you to post it in the waiting room. So it may not be, your number one way that you get recruits, but it is a way. So I'd post it. One year I was having a lot of trouble getting occupational therapists. And so I was at an in-person convention eating lunch with another practice, and they were from Michigan. I'm Ohio. And she said, "Oh my gosh, we are flooded with OTs. We have so many OT universities in Michigan that we can't find PTs." And I'm like, "Well, it's opposite for us. We have so many PTs, right?" And so I started recruiting in Michigan, and she started recruiting in Ohio. Now we do butt up to each other, Michigan and Ohio. It's not too far-fetched to think somebody might move and not be that far away from parents. But it was an aha moment for me that you could look at the states around you and see if they have more universities of a discipline you're looking for than you do, or even just market in the states around you, whether you're networking with those universities or you're trying to target your Indeed ad to those states. Take a look. It might be something for you. I have also, over time, created a licensed therapist email list. Now, there's lots of ways to do that. They might have been students for you. You might have just, they might have done, you might have done their resume review or a mock interview. I kept their information. Now, the key is to always get their personal email and not their school email, because those emails may be shut off. But I created these email lists over time. Also, in my state, it's not true anymore because once recruiting got really hard, they shut it down actually. But the licensure boards used to give us for free email lists. And I was able to do direct emails to licensed therapists in the state of Ohio. Now, reach out to your state board and see if that's true. ASHA, on the other hand, for speech therapists, sells you lists. Now, again, I haven't done that in a while. I don't know if that's still true, but they used to sell you, and it's only physical mailing addresses, not email lists. Now, I have fought that with ASHA for years, and they kept saying, we're looking at it, we're looking at it. So maybe that's changed as well. But ask ASHA. You can ask the national OT organizations and PT organizations, but look to your state ones as well. And if you can narrow those down to pediatrics, obviously that's ideal. And see if you can develop over time your email lists. Those are valuable. Keep them. But remember, personal emails, not school emails. If you ever host a course, oh, good. Let us know, Tina. I would love to know. They need to get up with the times and offer the email list, right? But people get bugged that they sell the emails, right? So I get it. Maybe people can opt in for opportunities for continuing ed or for recruiting, but at least give them the choice. But host a course. If you host a course in your area, then you'll get lots of emails, and put a little tiny and small font at the bottom that you reserve the right to use their emails for marketing purposes. And then you'll get emails of local therapists. So how do you do that? Find a course that your therapists love or that they want to take, and reach out and see if they're interested in bringing that to your state or your area. So yeah, that is most of my checklist. Really, it's not that robust. If you have additional ideas, put them in the chat. But in addition to those ideas, I do have more ideas on recruiting. So you truly, truly, truly have to understand your competition. Now, your competition are those people that would compete for the therapist you're competing for, right? It's not just someone in your state. So if an office is an hour away from you, then they're not your competition. They should be part of your network. People that you reach out to and you chat about laws and rules in your state. And you know I'm a big fan of developing your network. But you have to understand who you are competing for your team. You've got to understand a lot about them, and it takes time. You learn this over time. You learn this by their therapist coming to you, and you just ask some open-ended questions and they share, or by your therapist leaving, I hope never happens, and going to them. And you sit them down for an exit interview before their last day so that you actually get that interview. And you kind of try to dig in and find out what's causing you to leave. What's the difference in the pay? What's the difference in the benefit package and the Con Ed and the PTO? How much more? Now they don't have to tell you down to the penny. They can say it's like $3,000 to $5,000 more in salary. Or they offer a bonus and I'd like to have control over my income. So what is different about your competitors? And you need to learn that over time so that you can make sure you're competitive in that market when you're making offers. You can even ask a therapist you made an offer to that accepted someone else. Say, do you mind if we jump on a call so you can help me to improve? And I want to make sure that I'm offering the right packages. Some will, some won't. But understanding their pay structure. Let's say you pay 1099 or you pay per billable hour and your competitors pay salary. You have to take a look at that. Now, if all your competitors pay 1099 and billable hour too, perfect. You don't have to change a thing. But if they're paying salary and people like to have predictable incomes, I want to help you get over your barriers to paying salary, whether it's fear of filling them or whatever that is. Let's confront the real reason you're not paying salary and see if we can get you competitive with your competitors, right? Let's just chat about it. And if you decide, nope, I like my pay structure. Okay, totally fine. I'm not trying to get you to change your business model. I'm just trying to get you to find the therapist that you need to find. And if it happens to be your pay structure, let's take another look. Let's chat it out. Let's push each other's potential a little bit and just let me present some new ideas and let you consider them. And then you can say yes or no. Yeah, no pressure here. So you're looking at your salary structures. You're looking at your benefit package. Now, benefit packages can be expensive, but if your competitors are offering them, then you have to offer them. And how the heck do you afford it? Well, you got to get really good at driving in the business. You've got to get really good at controlling your cancels and getting people to consistently come in. That's the digging in and the managing by statistics. What are you doing well? Let's keep doing that well. What are you not doing well? Do you even know? Where are the holes in the weak areas in your practice and can we make them stronger? We need statistics. We need numbers to see that that graph is going down. So, of course, if it's cancels and no-shows, we want it to go down, but that's the only one. Most graphs we don't want to go down. But if something's going down, it better only be for 1 week before you know how to pop it right back up. And if you don't, let's get you the know-how. Let's get the know-how. But we got to get the statistics in before we can take a look at it with some real objective numbers and say, we're doing great at this. Well done. You know what you're doing there. Oh, we need some improvement here. Let's get some know-how and let's get improvement there. And then it'll go in the direction you want it to go. That's revenue. That's revenue. You need to increase your revenue and decrease your expenses. And there's ways to do both, right? But you need to look at your expenses and analyze, how can I get these lower? And I'm not talking salaries. I'm talking your shredded contract, your garbage. Can you get larger dumpsters that are picked up less frequently? It's little tips like that that could get your and maybe that's not even cheaper, you need to price it, but that could get your expenses down. There's little tricks. And if that's important and you want to have that as a bloom, put it in the chat and we'll have a bloom about how to get your expensive down. I'm not sure I could talk a whole hour, but maybe we could. There's definitely tips and tricks, but really it kind of pairs along with pushing your revenue up while driving your expenses down. If you do both of those, you're golden, right? When I talk competitors, okay, you do not have to compete with hospitals and schools. In fact, you can't. In my area, anyway, you cannot compete with hospitals and schools. Hospitals get paid 3 times what I get paid. I don't know what yours is, but 3 times what I get paid in my area. I can't compete with that. So I basically let them hire until their positions are full, and then I hire. I find the people that work for them that are unhappy and I hire them, right? And it's worked. My practice grew and exploded. But it has to do with what's inside your practice too. People leave bad bosses, right? That's why they leave companies. So you have to have structure in your company. You have to have leaders that are well trained if it's not you. So you retain your team, or none of this recruiting is even going to matter. So think with that and write yourself some goals for the next 10 weeks of the year. What are you going to do to strengthen internally your structure, your leaders, whether it's train your leaders, communication skills, right? People can say things that you just can't take back. So communication skills are huge with your leaders. What training do you need to put in place? Or maybe you need the training, and so that you can then train them, right? So that we can make our team better and retain our team. So that's what I have on understanding your competition. Let's talk about knowing when to hire, okay? The more frequently you can hire, truly the better off your practice is, right? Like if you could hire every therapist that you liked that came through your doors, you would grow and grow your team. You'd have more flexibility if somebody left. Like at a minimum, I want you to have 3 of each discipline. So if somebody loses, you're not threatened with your whole, like if you have 1 PT on staff, your PT leaves, you have no PT in your practice. I don't want that to happen. So that's why I want you to have 3 at a minimum of each discipline. And then when you start having locations, you need 3 at each location for the same reason, right? Because each location is going to kind of run as its own little entity. But the reason why people fear hiring is not because of the hiring. It's they fear being able to fill them and keep them filled. That's marketing. That's a whole nother conversation. Now, we've done 2 blooms on marketing. One was on social media posts, and I think one was on marketing and PR, maybe. Now, I think the next lemonade, I'm not going to tell you the date because they might change it. It's either the next one in 2 weeks or it's in 4 weeks, because I might be skipped to this next time, which is fine, is how to PR your practice. And PR is public relations, right? It's different than marketing. It's your positive reputation. How to ensure that you have a positive reputation out there. And that's what the next lemonade is going to be. So just keep looking for it. It'll be all over that Facebook page. They're very good about promoting that. But knowing when to hire, I'm going to give you a math equation. Many of you have already heard it, but I'm going to give you a math equation on when to hire. Okay. You take your revenue per visit, your revenue per visit. You can take an average if you want, or you can do it for OT, PT, speech separate. And you take your average salary for a therapist and you divide your average salary by your revenue per visit. Divide your average salary for that discipline by your revenue per visit. And that's going to be a number somewhere between 14 and 17. If it's not, we probably should talk. You're paying your therapist too much or too little. If you're paying them too little, fine, but I hope you don't lose them. Or you're paying them too much. That number should be between 14 and 17. So I've never seen it not there. So anyway, that means that that's all you need to fill a therapist to break even. Now I get it. There's more expenses than their salary. Okay. But this is just to break even on their salary. You can do that. Between 14 and 17, that's after school hours. You can fill their schedule with 14 and 17 therapists. Now, let's say, and this probably isn't going to happen in this challenging era of recruiting, but let's say you had 5 therapists that were only half full, 5 OTs that were only half full. And you're like, this is crazy. I have 5 OTs. I could combine them, be paying for 1 OT, right? Or 1.5. I'm losing money. Well, you're not losing money. You're breaking even. Now, you have all this extra time of these therapists. What can they do to improve your practice? What can they do on the PR and marketing end of your practice? Take it off your hat, your job description. Get them doing the posts, get them gathering videos and pictures, get them learning how to do the videos that Emily has all over her Facebook page. Somebody other than you. And get the promotions out there. Get them visiting daycares. There's a great lemonade on daycares and private preschools. If you don't have it, reach out to me. I'm going to give you my contact information here. I'll put it in the chat right now. And just reach out to me and tell me what it is I've said that you want me, if you missed it in the chat. There's my contact information. Um, you truly, truly want to be networking with daycares and preschools, and you need to do it in the right way that you're developing relationships. Get these people out there doing that, right? And that's going to be driving in more business to your practice. Do not be afraid to over hire as long as you can half fill them. I promise you, it's worth it because it's hard enough to find therapists. And when you do have a therapist quit, you're going to have these openings to immediately absorb them. So, maybe my example was too extreme by having 3 that are half filled with the same discipline, but I wanted to be a little bit of extreme, and you can bring it back to a bit of reality for yourself. But I don't want you to have fear of hiring, and I want you to realize it's not fear of hiring, it's fear of marketing, and you need to get better at marketing because what people think is, "I'm afraid to hire," and so they get more know-how about hiring. It's not what you needed the know-how in. You needed the know-how in marketing. Now, I get it, we fear hiring. It's not that we fear hiring, it's just that it's hard. We can't find the staff. And so I'm telling you, there's no magic. Now you have the checklist. I want you to look quality and quantity of that checklist. Now you've heard me preach. Like Erin, Maria, Tina, you've heard me speak over and over again. You know I preach about the network. You've got to be reaching out to these networks, practices that are bigger and more established than you, as well as those that are at your level. And you've got to be looking at their Indeed ads, at their social media, at their website, at their recruiting landing page on their website, like all the things. That's something I left out the checklist. Let me put in the chat. This is my website, which most of you have it. Go look at my landing page for careers. I think it's called career landing page, and steal everything you can from it, right? Like you have to do everything you can. Uplift Marketing made that, by the way. But they didn't do my whole website. I didn't know about them. And by the time I knew about them, I knew about them. I used my landing. Everything you can do for constant recruiting effort. You recruit, need therapist, always recruiting, having no fear to hire when you find the right ones. Absolutely, Ashley. I want to share with you have this. This is Rick Gawanda's coding courses. For anyone that doesn't have all 3 disciplines, I'm a big fan of it. Big fan of having all 3 disciplines. I'm going to do, actually, that's the next bloom is, why should I offer all 3 disciplines? So if you don't offer them, then you should attend that bloom in a month. But, actually it won't be a month because that's when we start our other workshops for the foundation series. So we'll have to figure out a date for that. And but these are coding courses. They're on demand. You can take them like right now or this weekend. But he has great coding courses to make sure that you are coding maximally to get that revenue as high as you can get it. So I absolutely want you to take at least one of his coding courses because they really are great. And then lastly, what I want to share with you is I have this thing called Calendly. If anybody wants to jump on a call, I am always here for you. And if you go on this schedule and there's a time it just doesn't work for you because of time differences or whatever, just text me and we'll set up a time. But I would love to get on the phone with you and see where I can push your potential. How can I push you to the next level in 2025 or 2026? And I'm free. There's no cost to you. And I'll only share with you things that do cost if we agree that it might be helpful and you want that information. But I'm not trying to push a program or a workshop or anything on you. I'm just sharing them with you in case you'll find them valuable. So when they're offered, you need to take them because you don't know when they're going to be offered again. I know Strategize to Maximize is offered every year about the 3rd week in January. We want you to get back from the holidays, recover, and get all your stats ready. But that's offered about the 3rd Friday in January every year. So that's one I know is offered every year. The rest of them, it's just random, whatever Nancy decides. So that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for carving time out on your Friday. I will stay on if anybody has any questions or you can put anything in the chat and I'm happy to talk about with you. Other than that, have a good rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. Thanks, everybody.